How goes it, people? Once again, this is Justin Joseph from Project COE.com, and after my enjoyable project with Resistance 2, I'm back to cover yet another of my backlog titles. Jason Bourne fans, I'm speaking to you through this video review because I'm taking an in-depth look at the Bourne conspiracy just for you. Be forewarned, however, because this isn't exactly AAA material. This game is intended to bridge the gap between the time Jason Bourne first enters his field of work to when he becomes a major problem for Treadstone. The Bourne conspiracy attempts to do this by having you reenact key missions from the first major film, The Bourne Identity, and those that serve as flashbacks in this game specifically. To an extent, this helps you understand why Identity starts the way it does, but in respect of knowing why and how Jason became who he is altogether, I still couldn't tell you. The plot is extremely disjointed, just like Jason's poor memory, so if you play this game for that reason, you will be very disappointed. The developer's second major intention was to provide an authentic Jason Bourne video game experience, gun, melee combat, and all. Sadly, they only partly succeeded. Jason's fist and foot attacks are limited to light and heavy via 2 face buttons, and combos never surpass 3 total strikes. Sure, you can follow up a combo that stuns an enemy with a charged high or roundhouse kick, but it becomes bloody repetitive after the first couple missions. Thankfully, that is somewhat offset thanks to the adrenaline meter, which fills as you land punches and kicks or bullet damage. Do so, and you can initiate a takedown, which is basically an animation that the enemy can't escape. These are honestly extremely cool to watch, but I didn't want to just see a scripted sequence given how badass Jason Bourne really is. If you want to know what I thought the game should have been in this regard, check out my full written review on ProjectCOE.com. Also, while the gunplay can be fun, I didn't care for how much there actually is. Seriously, if you're at all familiar with the films or books, you know darn well that Jason Bourne relies heavily on his ability to whoop some behind and kill via stealth. Despite the melee and gun combat in the Bourne conspiracy being nicely balanced, I wish there was far less bullet weapon use. Plus, the system has a few annoying problems. For instance, your enemies don't react realistically to being shot, and if they do, it's with a strange death animation that makes them look like they were just hit by a 3-round burst, when in fact you did nothing. Second, some enemies require 5 or more headshots to kill, and that's just ridiculous. On top of that, some foes can seemingly take full clips of ammo and still be standing, which is also eyebrow-raising. Thankfully not all is bad with it though. It's neat to chase enemies out of their cover thanks to Destructible Environments, and Jason's skill, called Bourne Instinct, can be activated with adrenaline in your meter. It not only points out objective and enemy locations, but it highlights nearby foes in a bright white. Plus, if you use the button it coincides with as intended, you can instantly be aimed at whoever you want to kill. Thus it sucks that after praising a single aspect of the gameplay, I have to return right back to criticizing the boss encounters. Why on earth do these punks require 4 or more extreme takedowns to defeat? It's bad enough that your health mysteriously drains to half automatically when a boss pulls out a knife or something, but when you have to hit them enough to continuously build your adrenaline meter, these encounters can become infuriating. Not to mention that a couple bring with them uninterrupted combo animations that can reach as high as 12 consecutive strikes. If you don't catch this when you can, you're as good as dead. Certainly with careful timing and some luck, bosses can be relatively painless to defeat, but more often than not, it's simply not the case. Audio-wise and visually, the Bourne conspiracy is quite the pleasant surprise. The character models are nicely animated and detailed, with the exception of Pasty Marie, and the environments and special effects look solid on an HD TV. The game isn't the prettiest of this generation, but it certainly shouldn't disappoint either. The voice work is also well done, and the music is well suited for the action, even if it's repeated more than it should be. What drove me nuts though is the enemy dialogue. Not only do they love the phrase, "the American is getting past us," but a certain phrase considered blasphemous among the religious gaming community is thrown around almost as much as Jason tosses out his attacks. Usually I can ignore crap like that in a game, but this one takes it a little too far. The Bourne conspiracy can be easily finished in a semi-lengthy 5 to 6 hour sitting if you really want to blaze through, which is exactly what I did. Some might find worth in going back for any missed hidden passports or achievements, but outside of that, the